All right, time for a member flash update. Now, last night I posted these two charts and simply 2021 versus 2017, Friday night food for thought, and a slightly different message on Twitter. Now, there's a method to the madness and there's a reason behind all this, and boy oh boy, didn't everyone prove the point that I was trying to make. So, if we have a look here, this is the current chart. A pretty ugly weekly candlestick. There's still, more than, 48 hours to go. So this can recover quite strongly, or it can finish worse, but we'll see where this ends up. But this is the current chart versus 2017 when we topped. Now there's some similarities and there's some differences. And I really wanted to get people thinking, because we're always trying to prepare for all possible scenarios. And I guess the other thing is just who has done their own research and who has thought about this versus who, how can two charts that are just showing you things that you probably already know, how can it possibly stir up so many emotions and get people on edge and panicked and worried? And if you just go through some of these comments, it's just crazy. Now, some people had great input, very different volume profiles. Other people saying, can't believe you put a couple of different emojis on Twitter versus what you put in the group. You can't just sort of drop that and walk away. Please clarify. Are you calling the top? What does this all mean? And I guess I really wanted you guys to kind of see how quickly everyone, just gets worried and about a couple of little words and just sharing some charts to get you thinking. And honestly, that's half of what I wanted to do, was to really get you thinking. Because if you've done all your own research and you've got your plan and you're sticking to it, like I've said, hundreds of times before, then one little post and a couple of charts is not going to phase you, versus it's very clear that some people are hanging on every word I say, and if I say something specific, then they're just going to sell all their coins. I really need you guys to make sure that I'm only one voice of many that you're getting information from. But the whole point of this was, a sentiment study rather than just doing a straight survey. And a little while ago, when I was posting those updates throughout February and the last couple of weeks, saying that we're getting extended and make sure you're taking profits, and it's really uncomfortable to be taking profits at a time like now when it's all still green and still going up every day. And there will come a time when people are worried that the bull market is over. And that's when you want to start to get interested again, and when there's blood in the streets. Now, I don't think there's blood in the streets yet, and there doesn't necessarily have to be in a bull market correction. Blood in the streets is probably more, the bear market corrections. But if we have a look at Bitcoin, we have had 25% now, and Ethereum even more so. We're talking 35% plus. So a lot of people are looking for one more leg down. I think there's a big appetite. You can see these wicks, anything under sort of 1450 here for Ethereum, people are happy to snavel up, and anything under 45, people are happy to snavel up. And I think there's a lot of people waiting for 44 or 40,000. As I said in the videos and in plenty of posts, that would be a gift. So, if you've been listening to that, in itself tells you that I don't think the bull market is over by any stretch. But I think you'd probably agree that we're starting to see fear now, and people are saying, is this the top? Is that it? And they are really worried, and that's kind of what we want to see to mark a bottom. And ideally, we'd see in those charts and the on-chain data some hodlers start to sell their coins to stronger hands, to the whales and whatnot. And particularly if we do get that one more leg down, there's a lot of people that are waiting on it. But depending on what the news is at the time and the circumstances, there's going to be people that say, this is looks like that 2017 chart now. And if they haven't done their research and they're not comfortable in their investment, that's when they're going to sell. Or if we were to get a wick, a wick down below 40, and they go, hold on, people said that it was going, to 40 and everyone was going to buy, and here we are going lower than that. It's those things when people are going to panic and they haven't got their own plan. That's the sort of, we literally need to get to that point emotion-wise for us to turn around, for those coins to change hands, to get a volume spike and whatnot. That tends to mark the end of those corrections in some sort of fear or volume climax. So I think we're at a very interesting point where, we've kind of had these couple of tests, almost 3 now at this level, and that again can be a good spot to form a bit of a bottom, an Adam and Eve, or an Eve and Adam, where people don't get that next dip down that everyone's waiting for. Or just that slow grind higher now as well. So it's not going to be that easy path that everyone wants, is it? We've seen that time and time again, that people just don't get what they want. Everyone's hanging out for 40,000. It's not just going to go down there, let everyone buy for a day, and then just go higher again. That's not how these markets work. They're volatile. They're going to try and shake you out. Particularly the big players, particularly on weekends. Expect a really volatile weekend this weekend. The dollar, as I mentioned the other day, has had a huge, huge run. The stock market's had a pretty shaky week as well. So, how are all these things going to affect crypto? And these can all be part of that narrative where I'm kind of in the camp where I really hope that Bitcoin can shine, and this is its chance to do its own thing. It'd be nothing better than if equities are sort of, just falling away, but that money continues to pile into Bitcoin and crypto as an alternate asset class. Money going out of bonds, out of basically all assets and into Bitcoin. That is the Goldilocks scenario. But also the news headlines can create that fear that Bitcoin's going to sell off like it did again in March. But if Bitcoin is at the bottom of its correction, Bitcoin's had its 30 or 40% correction as stocks are only starting to sell off, then it doesn't really make sense if there's still a big appetite, particularly for corporates, that Bitcoin's going to enter another, 60 or 70% correction and follow stocks down. I think things would have to change a lot from the current, circumstances, because there's a lot of people that didn't get to buy and have been waiting for a dip this whole ride up and didn't really get one. So yes, guys, I apologize for stirring the pot a little bit, but I did also want you to see just, the comments and that the sort of feedback that I get, and compared to a bull market when everyone's happy and making money versus this correction, and how quickly the picks come out. You can't say this, how dare you post that, this, that, and the other. And these are all the, the classic signs of people getting a little bit worried and nervous and anxious, and they're unsure about their investment. They're waiting for someone to tell them whether to buy or sell. And this is, I guess, all things that we've seen before. And that's probably what I wanted to highlight, just that difference in the top and selling when it feels uncomfortable, but everyone's happy, versus now we've had a bit of a correction. And I spoke about, people are going to be really emotional during that correction. They're going to be worried that maybe the top's in. And I think we're getting kind of close to that point in some regard. So look, that's the method behind my madness. I hope you've kind of understood why. You've learnt something, taken away something, and this is going to happen again. But honestly, when we look at this chart, in summary, the current chart, and we have that one little pullback there, and this is the second one, and then we look at 2017, one little pullback, maybe this is the second one here with a big weekly candle. I do think that we have some sort of price action like this ahead of us. So nothing to fear at this stage. I've said it 100 times. I think we're going to 100,000 in the next couple of years. So I shouldn't have to say it again. But yes, still very bullish long term. Anything can happen short term. Hopefully that clears things up, and have a great weekend, guys. Cheers.